I first met our speaker at a program similar to this that the Williamsville Business Association was running, and I was pretty amazed at the breadth of knowledge that he had. A few days later, we were at one of these meetings, and somebody said, "Oh, I accepted your LinkedIn request," and the other person sitting next to him said, "Okay, so now what do we do?" And we started chatting about that, and a group of about 7 or 8 of us gathered around, and everybody was saying the same thing, and I thought, let's get Seth in here. So we're very lucky to have Seth with us today. Seth is the founder of the fastest growing direct response marketing firm in the country, which is called Market Domination LLC, which promises that their flagship service will double your sales in 12 months or you get your money back. Seth's a nationally recognized marketing expert. He's been written about in 3 best-selling business books, and his own book, Financial Advisor Marketing Magic, How to Make New Customers Appear Like Magic, has been #1 in its category on Amazon. He was recently nominated for Marketer of the Year by Glazier Kennedy Insider Circle, which is the largest marketing organization of its kind in the world. Seth has been interviewed by some of the top marketing experts in the country for his innovative ideas and has been featured in CBS Money Watch, the Los Angeles Times, the Boston Globe, and the Miami Herald. He's one of the foremost experts in the country on using LinkedIn to generate new leads, appointments, referrals, and sales. And today he will be providing us with some advice on this topic. So please welcome Seth Green.
Thank you very much. I just want to take a quick survey of the room. We'll do this by show of hands. How many people here are on LinkedIn? Just about everybody. And how many of you can count on one hand the number of sales you've got from LinkedIn, and the number is bigger than 0? Nobody. So that's what we're going to fix today. All right, so LinkedIn is basically an online version of a networking event. That's all it is. Don't let any of these social media hype throw you off from that. So if I walked into a room with a stack of business cards and walked up to someone I had never met and said, "Hi, here's my card, can I sell you something?" How long would it be before someone pulled out the cane and dragged me out of the room? So don't do that on LinkedIn. There are people who do that all the time because they think it's different. It's not. It's basically an online networking event. And we're going to talk about how to use that to your distinct advantage. Why market domination? Why are we here? You heard a little bit about that from Dave Brody. We do marketing for a large number of clients, everyone from the individual professional practice like yourself, commercial real estate broker, doctor, lawyer, financial planner, all the way up to 4 Fortune 500 companies. We think, obviously, that we're biased. We think we're the solution to why you have no sales on LinkedIn, or why you have no listings from LinkedIn, or why you got no clients or referrals from LinkedIn. Because I started in marketing because I am in my spare time a professional magician. And I bought, a number of years ago, I was reading a trade journal for magicians. Magicians have trade journals. There's actually 3 of them. And I saw a full-page ad for a course on marketing for magicians. I bought that course, and I doubled my prices to become the most expensive magician in Western New York. Not the best, just the most expensive. It's an important distinction. I didn't practice anymore. I didn't learn any new tricks, but I got better marketing. And I became the busiest magician in Western New York. And all of a sudden, other magicians I knew were calling me going, "Dude, I'm way better than you. You're charging more and you're working more. How the heck did this happen?" And I said it was because of the marketing. So I contacted the guy who sold me the course, and I said, "Do you think this would work in my real job as a financial planner?" Because that's what was keeping food on the table. And he said, "Yes, it would." I said, "Where'd you learn it?" He said 2 words that changed my life. He said, a guy by the name of Dan Kennedy, who is the highest paid direct response marketing coach consultant in arguably the world. 15 best-selling books, absolute genius. So I went to Dan. I did a consultation with Dan back when he still did them. And he said, "You're doing everything wrong." Because in financial planning, I started with a Fortune 500 company. I went to training in St. Louis for a week, and I got back, And Monday morning, 7 a.m., I meet my branch manager. It's my first day of being a live financial planner. I can invest people's money. And he says, I got you a book where all of your clients are going to come from for the rest of your career. I'm 22 at the time. I'm really excited. I start mentally spending all the money I'm going to make because he got me all my clients. I'm buying myself a Ferrari in my head. I'm thinking, this is great. And he reaches behind his desk and pulls out the phone book. Literally, the phone book. And said, good luck. So I made 300 cold calls a day. I was that guy interrupting you during dinner asking for money for 5 years until I discovered direct response marketing. So I asked Dave, who sold me the course, does this work for financial planners? So I go to a consultation with Dan. He says, how are you getting clients? I say, interrupting strangers during dinner asking for money. He said, how's that going for you? Not so well. So he said, write me a check, a very large check, a 6-figure check, and I'll change your life. So I went home to my wife, and I said, honey, I know you just quit your job to become a stay-at-home mom because our son was just born, and we just moved into this house we just bought, but I need to go borrow more than our mortgage to hire this guy, Dan, and he's going to teach me X, Y, and Z. And she said, you're crazy, not as nicely as I just said it, and said no. So the next day I came home from work and said, honey, I need to go borrow all this money to go hire this guy. And she said, I told you no yesterday. So after 30 days of nagging her in a row, she finally said, okay, go for it, you better pray this works. So in my first 2 years, he quadrupled my sales. 435% up in 2 years. Got me, and I became one of the top 30 advisors nationwide at that Fortune 500 company that had 6,700 advisors working for them, all of whom were a whole lot older than me. So it worked really well. And I said, what's next? And he said, go start another company teaching other people how to do what you just did. So that started Market Domination, which was about 7 years ago. And we applied the same marketing techniques to Market Domination, some of which you'll learn today, and we've grown over 3,088%. So that's why we're here, and that's the very, very short version of my story. So Dave mentioned that our flagship service will double your sales or double your commissions in 12 months or give you your money back. You can't see this. It's a mind map of the 133 steps that double your sales. It's what we call an automated perpetual marketing funnel. It's a funnel because your prospects start at the top of a funnel and they go all the way through to the bottom and come out giving you money. They slide down the slope. It's automated and perpetual because it runs forever, and it's automated because once it's up, you don't have to do the work, we do the work. So if you want a legible copy that's much bigger of that mind map, let us know, we'll email you the PDF and you can print it. You still won't be able to read it, you'll need a magnifying glass, or you could just print a really big copy like those architectural blueprints. So I'm going to bring up Dan Gerritsen, who is my VP of social media. He's going to do a little bit about what is LinkedIn, how you get started the right way on LinkedIn, and then I'm going to go into some more advanced strategies that you could literally do today, either from your smartphone or from your computer when you get back to your office, and get results right away.
Thanks, Seth. I don't think I'll use the mic either. So I do social media. You have Facebook, Twitter, today's subject, LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram. There's so many more. A new one comes up every day, it seems like. So today's subject is LinkedIn, and I'm trying to give you basically an overview of how you can use it. Today we're going to just do it based on commercial real estate agents and how exactly you can use it for your business. So it has 238 million members at this point, and it's all professionals at this point. New members are adding, I believe it's like 2 every second. So anyways, we have 77 of the users access the site to research a business or individual. What does that mean? It means that they're not going on there for the purposes of just checking photos like a lot of people do on Facebook. They're actually going on there for business purposes. 69% of those users, they earn over $60,000 a year, and then 39% of them earn over $100,000. So what does that mean for your purposes? They have money. They can actually afford buying properties. You're not going to be able to do business with someone who doesn't make enough money. And then there's 60 million of these people accessing it directly from their phone. Quick show of hands, does everyone have a smartphone, an iPhone, anything that can access the internet? So right on your phone, you can network. Literally, with your thumb, whatever finger you decide to use your phone with, you can network from it with the LinkedIn app. This is important here, because you look at it, small business owners, you do business with them. Those are the people who are buying buildings, and those people say that LinkedIn is most useful for their firm. It has the most potential to generate business. As I said before, 2 new members sign up on LinkedIn per second. So as I'm talking, we're getting new members. It's something that's still growing. The most important thing there, though, is that 84% of those people who are using it, they actually get business opportunities. They generate opportunities for themselves where they can actually make money from it, as opposed to things like, Facebook, Twitter, which there's more people, we'll say, but they're not on there for the specific purpose of generating business. So I wanted to do basically a brief overview, so I broke it down to 6 different things that will put you at least in the right direction. You have to create a great profile. That's what people are going to see initially. That's going to be their first impression of you. And then obviously you have to connect with these people. They don't just come to you. You have to actually actively go out, request connections. If there's someone specifically that you want, you can search for this person and you can find a way to connect with them. Third, once you build up a following a little bit, build up some connections, you can actually build your own company page, which is just another way for people to find your business online. Fourth is join groups. So groups essentially, basically you have all these people in here and it's all commercial real estate agents. Those groups exist on LinkedIn. And once you're a part of the group, you can post on these group walls and all of these like-minded individuals can see what you're posting. 5 is earn credibility. If you have information, if you feel like you know about your business, you can share it with people. And then 6, network. It's not going to do anything if you don't spend the time to network, to invite connections, and then to use it to its full advantage. In terms of the profile, this is very important because this is what people are going to see. This is essentially you in a page right there. You're going to have a profile picture that you can put up, and then you're going to also have a little summary that you can put up, which is right here. That summary is going to show up when people search for you on Google. Let's say they search your name or they search commercial real estate agent, LinkedIn. That summary and your name is going to show up. So you have to make sure that your summary really actually explains what you do, what you're looking for, the type of business connections that you want to make. So your profile, set it to be public. Because if you set it as private, that means that people who aren't a connection currently can't actually access your profile, look at it. It's a very simple process. You can just do it in the settings and make your profile public so that way anyone can see it when they want to. And then connecting. So LinkedIn has this really nice feature where you can search. You can search businesses, you can search companies, you can search people, you can search groups, you can search answers, you can search pretty much anything that you need to. You can search up there. If there's a specific person, like I said, you want to connect with them, type in their name, click search, and they'll pop up on there, and then you can connect with them. You'll also be able to see if you have someone who's a second connection or a third connection. I think Bruce, who works with us, is third connection to the president. Second connection to the president of the United States. You can also, as I said before, download this on your phone. When I was in college, I was telling everyone that I could get more LinkedIn connections than anybody else. So I sat there on my phone every single day and I found any person that I know, basically any person I knew their name, and I sat there and pressed connect, 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 connect. LinkedIn eventually caught on and I got an email saying that you can't just connect with anybody. But now at this point I have well over 1,000 connections, through the university I went to school, business connections in the area, and that's 1,000 people that I can send a message to whenever I want. So I'm going to bring Seth back up, and he's going to go into a little bit more detail about that.
Okay. Oh, yep.
Excuse me. Is what you're showing, is that free or is that part of?
This is the free version of LinkedIn.
Because
there are 2 versions
upgrades
there's the free version and the premium version, which is about $25 a month. We'll talk about the difference and if I don't, please remind me why the premium version is better, which is of course how LinkedIn makes money, one of the ways LinkedIn makes money. I want to give you a couple quick tips. So, how many of you have ever tried to connect with someone on LinkedIn and LinkedIn says, what's their email address? Okay. The reason LinkedIn is doing that is because of people like Dan back in college who were spam connecting to everybody, who are, as we call it, forgive me ladies, but the term we made up for this is, don't be a LinkedIn whore. Don't connect to everybody. People ask us all the time, well, I got 1,000 connections, isn't that great? Not necessarily. Smaller is better on LinkedIn. This isn't Facebook, where you want to be connected to everybody under the sun. On LinkedIn, because think about it, if I met Dan for 2 seconds at a networking party and then never saw him again, is that a deep connection? No. And if I try to sell Dan something, he's gonna be like, who are you again? I don't even remember you. He would rather talk to me if we've met 3 times, we've had lunch. It's gotta be a deeper connection than that. So you are better off with a smaller number of connections on LinkedIn that you actually have some connection to in real life, not just LinkedIn. Does that make sense? Now, there are hyper-connected people on LinkedIn who know everybody. So you want to find a couple hyper-connectors in your niche and connect to them because they can connect you to almost everybody. So for example, I'll shamelessly use myself, I'm a hyper-connector because I speak all over the country all the time. So I'm connected to a lot of people. So connect to me, and then you can mine my LinkedIn profile and say, hey, you know X, Y, and Z, I want to know them too, can you help me? Here's another trick to overcome the requesting email address, because LinkedIn is testing to see if you really know the person. Because if you don't have their email address, you don't really know them. That's how LinkedIn defines it. So in your name on LinkedIn, it shouldn't be Seth Green. It should be Seth Green, and at the end of my last name is my email address. Because now anyone who views my profile can see my email, hit connect, they can copy and paste my email address and connect to me. So I'm making it easier for other people to connect to me. Little trick. Now, more people are going to try and connect to you, so you've got to be judicious about, don't say accept to every single person, look at them before you pick. Now, here's a great way to use LinkedIn to get referrals. And I'm going to suggest that every single one of you do this when you get back to the office, and we'll see how many people actually do it. Because I do this every time I talk about LinkedIn, and it's interesting to see if the statistics hold up. So what you're going to do is you're going to, in this case, I'm going to use myself as the example. You're going to connect to me on LinkedIn, and then you're going to look through my connections. Because once you're connected to me, you'll be able to see every single person I'm connected to. Which is one of the advantages of LinkedIn is there's no privacy. So you can now look through my profile and all of my connections and say, do I want to meet any of those people? You can search and say whatever you're looking for and see if I'm connected to them. And then you're going to send me a request and say, can you introduce me? So this is an example. I went through a gentleman who was in another networking group I belong to, and he sells water filtration systems. And we have one in our house. And I was looking through his LinkedIn connections, and I was thinking, oh, he sells water filtration systems, most of his business is residential. Who is he really going to know that can help me? Well, I'm looking through, and I see Wendy Garagazzo, Director of Operations at Auntie Anne's J&N O'Neill franchise. Auntie Anne's is the pretzel place. They have them in the mall. They have kiosks. And I said, oh, that's a large company. I'd love to do marketing for Auntie Anne's. So I went to Steve, and I said, hey, Steve, can you introduce me to Wendy? He said, how do you know I know Wendy? He said, you're connected to her on LinkedIn. How do you know Wendy? I said, oh, I used to work with Wendy. Do you still talk to her? Yeah, I talked to her last week. Perfect, that's a real connection. And he made the introduction, and less than 48 hours later, I was on the phone with her, and she's only in Rochester, so I could drive up and actually meet with her. Who knew that Auntie Anne's had like not like the headquarters, but like a big building in Rochester. I never would have found that if I hadn't been searching his LinkedIn profile. Now, depending on the number of connections, Laura Goodwin, registered architect. Anybody in here talk to architects? So I'm not saying you should go find Steve, but you can either search for a person or a profession, or you can really look through every single one of my connections. Now, obviously, we've got a lot, so it might take you longer, but obviously it's worth it. Does that make sense? When Dan talks about build a company page, you may not own your business. You may work for Hunt or Realty USA, and they may already have a corporate page, but you can still build one for yourself as a representative of them. It's basically a free website that takes no programming skill whatsoever to create. If you can fill in the blank and answer a question, you can build one. So these are some examples of commercial real estate ones. So this is Cushman & Wakefield, who obviously we've all heard of, but you can build one I could be, if I was a commercial real estate agent at Realty USA, I could also have a page, Seth Green at Realty USA. So I could have my own profile and my own company page. It's just an extra way for people to find you. And it's an extra, we'll talk about this later, but it's an extra way for Google, the search engine, to bring you up when people look for what you do. Because Google indexes LinkedIn pages really high. So you can have a free one. Obviously, the more you have, the better. So a profile and a company page. It costs nothing to do this. Dan talked a little bit about why you should join a group. So is there a NYSCAR LinkedIn group? We don't know. Okay, there should be. Somebody should work on that. Okay. So you should join it. You should have a group. But so you can all talk to each other on LinkedIn. But the even better part of it is your prospects have all created their own groups already. You can join their group. And then any message you put in that group, LinkedIn emails every single member of the group and tells them what you just wrote. Hopefully wheels are starting to turn. So if there were a network of business owners in Buffalo, I don't know, say maybe, so here's a commercial real estate investment group. This is national, and there's 67,915 members, 9% of whom are in the greater Niagara-Buffalo region. Can help you keep abreast of trends in your industry, help you find brokers in other states, other places, who might have out-of-location investors who want to buy property, or companies who are moving here. But let's say there's, I don't know, Buffalo Niagara 360, 4,518 members, who are all business owners or sales professionals in the area. You can join the group for free. Some of those people, most of those people own businesses who need space or maybe looking to expand, etc. So there's a group of really highly targeted prospects who are all local that you can get in front of. You join the group for free, put out a message, LinkedIn will email 4,518 people for you and say, Andrew just wrote this update. And because LinkedIn is sending the email, the deliverability actually getting to your email inbox is like 100%. There's no spam issues, there's no I didn't get your email. LinkedIn sends it, it's getting through. So, how much would it cost you if you wanted to send your brochure to 4,518 people? Probably at least $4,518 plus copies. How much would it cost if you wanted to put an ad on TV, an ad in Business First? More than $4,518. You can put an ad in front of all of them for free. And we're guaranteed to get it, as opposed to they might not watch a TV commercial, they might not read that page of Business First. Does that make sense? Now, if you all go join the same group and all put out the same message, it's not going to work. That's sort of like Selena and Barnes saying, hit by a car, call us. If you don't wait, call late. You ignore it until the day you get hit by a car, because they're shouting it all the time. No offense to Selena and Barnes. So if you all say the same thing, it won't work. You've got to, first of all of you won't do this. I wish you would, but not everybody will. And you're not all going to put the same message. Because what Tom is going to write isn't what Dave is going to write. You have different personalities, you have different businesses, you service different clients. Even though, if I say, what's your ideal client, you might all say, well, a business owner who wants to expand is looking for 5,000 square feet in the North Towns and wants to pay this. You have a different take on it because you have different experiences. Advanced strategy, create your own group. Why would you want to create your own group? Take a guess. My employees are not allowed to answer.
Set yourself apart.
Set yourself apart, yes. Because you own the media. It's your group. You get to decide who gets in. You're the administrator of the group. You get to put whatever message out whenever you want. The Buffalo Niagara Partnership might have set their group page where they have to approve all posts before they go out to the whole group. So someone else is the gatekeeper. They're deciding if your message gets out. You own the group. You decide what everyone gets to do. It's like owning your own magazine that just goes to your prospects. You get to choose who advertises. You get to choose what messages go out. You're in charge and it's free. And it positions you as the expert in your local market. You might not be the guy or the woman who wrote the book, but you can be the woman who runs the group, and it costs nothing. earns credibility. LinkedIn, how many people here have someone else endorse them on LinkedIn? Awesome. So at least you're doing a good job at what you do. That's important. Because if you're lousy, I can't help you because we'll just piss off a bunch of people really fast. So use LinkedIn endorsements because when people search your profile, this shows up. So if I'm looking for commercial office space and I'm searching for a commercial real estate broker on LinkedIn and two come up and one's got, all right, so this is mine, so we're not endorsed for real estate, we're endorsed for social media marketing and stuff like that. But if I'm looking for you and one broker has like one endorsement and the other one has 17, which one am I going to pick, all things being equal? The person who's got more endorsements. So, how do you get more endorsements? Ask. Ask your clients who you just helped who are happy with you to say, hey, can you go endorse me on LinkedIn? Most common objection you'll get is not no, it's I don't know what to say. Write it for them. Or say, hey, what did you like best about what we did? You just moved in, congratulations, you had your ribbon cutting ceremony, or you're in your new space, how do you like it? I love it. What's your favorite part about it? Blah, blah, blah. Hey, that's great. Would you mind if I wrote that down, typed it up for you, and had you posted as an endorsement on our LinkedIn page? Of course. They just said what a great job you did. Are they going to say, no, I was lying to you? Bruce told you were supposed to laugh at my bad joke. So no, they're not going to say that. They're going to say yes. So ask your clients to endorse you because the more endorsements you have, the more credible you are. Does that make sense? Yes, question. You can interrupt, by the way. I apologize, I didn't announce that.
Seth, I'll get these emails that say that you've been endorsed by so-and-so, and I'll open it up, and it'll have an endorsement for something that I don't really do or don't want to do. How do you deal with those issues?
It's tricky. You say no. So it will say, would you like to post this on your profile or skip it? Say skip it.
Okay.
Or, depending on if the person can change it, you could contact them and say, hey, listen, that was really nice of you, I really appreciate it, but I'm not looking for more clients for that service. Could you possibly write it about this, and here's what I already wrote it for you based on what you said about how wonderful I am. Do you want to cut and paste it and resend it? If you are feeling at all shy about this, the worst thing they can say is no. And we also shamelessly bribe people. So we will say, we have a direct mail campaign for this specific purpose, for getting reviews online, for businesses. And if you connect to me on LinkedIn, I'll give it to you, I'll give you the Google version free, you can modify it for LinkedIn, and like we'll send it in the mail, we'll send a postcard going, please, thank you so much, please review us, and send us a link to the review, and we'll give you a $25 gift card at Starbucks or something, or $5 or whatever it is. Hang on a second. Yes?
In similar manner, how important is it to always, if somebody sends you a message saying, I want to connect you, and maybe you don't know them, or maybe you look up their profile and find out what they're about, and you say to yourself, I don't really want to have this connection because it's not going to do me any good. Maybe they're just searching for somebody, they want to go through all my contacts,
right.
You know, whatever. So how important is it to only connect with those that you really want to connect with? And what happens if you say no to somebody who wants to connect with you?
Okay, great question. I'm sure a lot of other people were thinking about that because we get it every single time we do this. I would say you can have two choices as to how LinkedIn is a network for you. It's one of your networks. Obviously, this is a network, that's a network. You can have a network that is wide and shallow, meaning you're connected to lots of people, but your relationships are shallow, you don't actually know them really well. Or you can have a network that is narrow but really deep. People you actually know, who if you picked up the phone would take your call and wouldn't go, who? I would rather be narrow and deep, because I would rather have 200 relationships that matter than 2,000 which might look cooler but they don't actually know who I am. Because that drives me nuts. When I call someone and ask them for an introduction on LinkedIn, they say, oh, I see you're a connection of so-and-so. Here's what I'd like to do. Can you introduce me? Oh, I don't really know that. Thanks. That doesn't help me. But, yeah, I had lunch last week. Of course I can. That's what I'm looking to get. Or why do you want to be referred to them? I would rather have a narrow and deep network. Because I speak every single month, I just happen to know a lot of people. And everybody connects to me, so. Now what happens if you say no? LinkedIn doesn't send them an email saying, you just got rejected. They don't actually get notified that you said no. So the only way they would know that you said no is if they were actually trying to really connect to you and not just spamming everybody. Because LinkedIn will, when you set up a LinkedIn will say, would you like us to invite everybody in your address book? And everyone says yes. And so 500 emails go out saying connect to me. But they don't actually know everybody in their email address book. So they don't get an email back. The only way they would know you said no is if they went back, searched for you on their LinkedIn profile, and saw that you weren't connected yet. And if they're willing to do that much work, and then they call you on it, it might be worth connecting to them because they're determined and persistent and they really want to know you, as opposed to someone who just said, invite the 3,000 people in my Outlook.
So the question I have is, I've gotten, as most of us have, probably buku endorsements in bulk. Now, some of the endorsements come in and say, you know, XYZ wants to endorse you, XYZ, you know, in numerous names together or individually. And some of them say, want to endorse you, carte blanche. The others say, do you want to put it on your profile? What is the difference between those two endorsements?
Okay. The second one is the better one. Do you want to put it on your profile means they've already written it, they picked a skill, and you can choose whether or not to post it on your profile. The first one is a whole bunch, so just like you can spam invite people, you can spam endorse people. Because LinkedIn will send you an email going, why don't you write an endorsement? Would you like to endorse everybody in your address book? You shouldn't, because everybody in your address book you don't know. Everybody in your address book isn't necessarily good at what they do. We all have people who are like, I can't believe I did business with that person, never again, they were a nightmare client. So somebody hit, yes, I want to endorse everybody, and LinkedIn sent, would you like them to endorse you? If it's got an actual skill that they picked, they physically did it. If it's blank, it's because they said, yes, I'm going to be an endorsement whore and endorse everybody. So I would skip those because they're not really doing it. And I apologize for using that whore reference.
Can you remove an endorsement that's already there?
Yes, you can take it down. You own the page. So you can go to your profile and go to edit and get rid of endorsements that aren't relevant, get rid of them for people you don't know, get rid of them for things you don't want to do or don't attract business for.
Well, when you say endorsement, are you broadly speaking to actual written references and the endorsements that you can just click a button for, or one or the other? I don't. Because I know you can delete a reference, but I don't know if you can.
Right on the top of your page, as soon as you sign into LinkedIn, what they're going to do is they're going to have a block of your connections, and it's literally going to say, do you want to endorse this person? So like a person like myself, when I was in school, I was trying to connect with as many people as possible for just job purposes and whatnot. Now I have all of these connections, and these block of connections come up, and you can literally scroll through all of them and just click endorse. You don't have to write anything. All you're going to do is endorse, which is just going to build that number up. But for people who aren't like me, I did radio in school. I have all of these endorsements for radio, but now that's not what I do. So now I'm getting more for social media marketing. So it's going to be up there, and a lot of people will just click, click, click. The ones that you want are those valuable ones, like he was talking about.
Where they actually take the time to write it.
Exactly.
I have about 700 connections in my LinkedIn. I've tried to email blast, and I can only send 50 at a time. Is that a settings problem, or are there things within LinkedIn that limit you to the number of emails that you can send?
There are things within LinkedIn that limit you to, in the free account, to what you can do. So if you upgrade, then you have more capabilities. So that's one of the ways that LinkedIn makes money, is charging you more. You can also get introduced to more people without having their email addresses on a premium account. You can send more LinkedIn emails between users, because LinkedIn has its own LinkedIn mail with a premium account. So
the only way I can hit those 700 is just email 50 at a time. Is that accurate?
there's a better way to do it.
Or join the upgraded program.
You could join the upgraded program or create your own group, invite them all to your group, and then you post a group update, and LinkedIn will email all 700 for you.
Got it.
One of the reasons why you want to have your own group. You can have more than one group. I think we have 4 or 5 for different niches that we're in. Because I started out as a financial advisor, my first book was Financial Advisor Marketing Magic. We've got 2 more coming out for other niches that we're in. So we're writing like a Chicken Soup for the Soul series, but about marketing. So book 2, which is coming out next week, is Real Estate Marketing Magic. Book 3 is Cutting Edge Online Marketing Magic, which comes out in October. So for each book will have its own LinkedIn group, its own page for fans of the book, etc., etc. So you can build as many groups as you want. Okay, so network. Obviously, you have to actually get it done. There are tools to automate this. For example, you can have LinkedIn on your phone. You can have, one of the things we do is before I go to a networking event, which I have another one later this evening, and they actually had a list of attendees. We go Google search and LinkedIn search everybody at that event, who's going to be there. So when I walk into the room at 5:30, 27 of those people I will already know information about. So when I walk up to them, I will know their kids' names, I will know what they do, I will know where they went to school, I will come up with things we have in common. And they'll be like, holy cow, this is awesome. Oh yeah. I mean, you could literally, if you took this too far, there is a new app out that will ding you or text message you when people you're connected to on social media are near the same physical location as you. Now, obviously, if you're a LinkedIn whore and you're connected to thousands of people you don't really know, but all of a sudden it says Jane's at the bar over there. I could go look up Jane, walk up to her and go, Jane, I haven't seen you since Nazareth. Oh my God, it's been so long. And how is Joe and the kids and all this stuff? And she's going to be like, I guess we know each other. Don't do that. That's called social media stalking, and that's bad. And sooner or later, Obama will get around to passing a law against that. But there are tools like Zyte, which is really cool, Z-Y-T-E, allows you to curate all your social media content in one place. Also allows you to create your own magazine relevant to your industry and your likes and dislikes. So go make a commercial real estate magazine, and it will give you news around the world and around the country about your industry. So when people tell me, I don't know what to post on LinkedIn, bull. Use Zyte, and it'll give you, here's all the news articles that day about commercial real estate. If you can't find one to go post in with a one-sentence comment on it, then I really can't help you. But there's tons of free content out there. It's all out there. We use Hootsuite a lot to automate, like we'll write all of our posts for a month in advance, as long as like there's no earthquake or something, and we'll set it and say, post this each day at this time. And then we forget it for the month, because we're done. Do it all at once, knock it out in an hour or two, and then you're done. You don't have to worry each day, I gotta come up with something. There is, which you have to be a client to find out, so this is a shameless bribe, but there is a huge difference in what time of day you post. 80%, I think, correct me on the statistic if I'm wrong, but like 80% of a post content activity is in the first 30 minutes. After it's been out for a few hours, a few days, it's gone, it's dead. So, there is a time of the day, and it's not what time you would think, when posts get the most traction. And you'd be amazed at what time it is, because it's not when you think it is. It's not the time you think people are on LinkedIn or Facebook or social media. But the best time of day, we have literally had clients that 10 times the number of people who saw the post. It was the same post, we just changed the time they put it out. Backlinks. So I'm going to give you a literal 60-second definition of search engine optimization. We could literally do weeks with charts and graphs and all the PowerPoints on it. I'm going to give you 60 seconds, all you're ever going to need to know. How many people ever saw the 1980s movie Can't Buy Me Love with Patrick Dempsey? Okay, a few people. All right, I'll give you the short synopsis. Patrick Dempsey, and this was like 30 years ago, way before he was McDreamy, was the geeky lawn boy next door. The kid who got picked on and bullied. He pays the pretty blonde captain of the cheerleading team who lives next door to date him. The first day he walks down the hallway holding her hand, he's instantly cool. The football players who used to stuff him in the locker are now his new best friends. The other cheerleaders who now have seen him dating the captain of the cheerleading team all want to date him now, and they didn't know his name before. That's search engine optimization. Google is the ultimate pretty girl. She won't like you until the other girls like you. And the way you get the other girls to like you and show Google is by backlinking. It's a popularity contest. The more pretty girls who like you, the more Google will like you. So, Google uses links to determine what other places pretty girls like you. LinkedIn is a very high page ranked site. So so Google ranks pages from 9 to 1. 9 is your joesbarbecuegrill.com. You put the 12-year-old kid, put the website up, who's the son of the owner, nobody knows it exists. PageRank 1 is CNN, which has millions and millions of articles and pages, and every news site on the planet links to them. LinkedIn is PageRank 1. So every time you write a post, the first thing in the post should be a link to your website. And it should be http://www. If you just put www, it's not a clickable link and Google won't count it. But if you put the full link to your website in every post, LinkedIn is now linking to your website. LinkedIn likes you enough, Google starts liking you. Because somebody else, another cheerleader, dated you first. Does that make sense? Okay. LinkedIn questions. This is really, really cool. So LinkedIn has a service where you can ask it a question, and it will go find experts in the field, ask them the question, who have agreed to be experts, and send you the answer. Why would you want to do this? Be an expert on LinkedIn and answer questions about commercial real estate or architecture or commercial lending. Because LinkedIn's going to link your answer to you, link to your website, and now when people search for what you do or search for who you are, they're going to see LinkedIn asked all these questions and you answered them. Oh my God, this person is a LinkedIn expert. How do you get to be a LinkedIn expert? Declare yourself one. It's free. There's no barrier to entry whatsoever. My 6-year-old could be a LinkedIn expert, but nobody else knows this. Everybody thinks, oh wow, they must be an expert. So now you're an expert, congratulations. And of course, you can shamelessly self-promote when you answer a question. If someone says, I'm struggling with finding whatever medical space or whatever it is, answer the question, and then, of course, I would then connect to that person and say, hey, I'd be happy to help you directly in my busy time as an expert. Does that make sense? LinkedIn search. If you go to the LinkedIn bar, there's that search bar. It looks like a Google bar. To the right of it is something called advanced. If you click on advanced, you can use this term that our wonderful marketing person from Uniland knows that no one else has ever heard of unless you went to like a statistics class called Boolean search connectors. Forget that I just said that. It doesn't mean anything. What it means are you can put more than one word together to customize your search. Everyone in the room has used Google, yes? Yes. But I guarantee you, you don't know how to really use Google. Because unless your search term has a whole bunch of connectors to it, you're wasting time. Because Google is sending you results that are too broad, but you can narrow it down really quickly. So for example, if you were looking for what we do, you could type in consultants in quotes and a minus sign, social plus media. So in this case, minus means negative. So in this case, I want a list of every consultant on LinkedIn who doesn't do social media. Quotes is the exact word, minus is negative, and then plus is those two words together. So if you were looking for a business owner of a certain type of business, you can play with this and refine your searches so you only get the people who are really relevant. Like if you searched for me, I can do a search for myself to find what my address is. Scary, there's no privacy. I can find my kids. If I do the search the right way, what if you said I want data about Seth, but I only want to see stuff from when he was in high school? You can do a search that will only show listings from stuff that was posted about me in high school a long time ago, and not anything else.
Could I get a tutorial hooked into this stuff? Is it built into LinkedIn or no?
If there isn't one on LinkedIn, you could just go to YouTube and type in LinkedIn, advanced LinkedIn search, and 8,000 videos will pop up. So you can really start searching exactly the people you want. Because if you search too broad and you get this page of listings and you're like, oh, that's not who I want, you just hit back and you forget it. This eliminates that and actually gets you the prospects that you want to find. So you could do this with local. You could say, I'm going to pick somebody to be a guinea pig, you kind sir, give me an example of a type of business you are representing now or just represented. What industry?
I'm looking at.
I am looking at you.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're looking right past it.
I apologize. I don't
Oh.
worry. Yes.
Energy company.
Energy company, okay, and hypothetically, if you want an energy company to get space for, do you want them to be local?
Yes.
Yes. So then I could do energy company and then say plus Buffalo, Western New York. And then the LinkedIn search page will only show me energy companies that have the words Western New York or Buffalo or Greater Buffalo Niagara in their profile. So now I'm not looking at Atlas Energy in Los Angeles, California, which is a waste of my time. That make sense? Seeing possibilities? Okay. Okay, the other way LinkedIn makes money, other than selling you the upgraded version, is LinkedIn PPC. Stands for pay-per-click advertising. You can put advertisements in front of whoever you want on LinkedIn. You can be a LinkedIn advertiser. It costs $5. That's it. And then you have a LinkedIn ad. Actually, you know what? Now they've changed it. It's free. You just have to pay when anyone clicks on your ad. So right now, this little line up here, A/B testing software, most popular A/B testing software on the planet, tested out, and it's a link, that's an ad. Someone paid to put that there. But here's the beauty of it, because this is from my LinkedIn profile. If I don't click on this, it costs nothing. It's one of the most revolutionary things that happened to advertising in the last 20 years. Google started it. It's free unless your prospect actually clicks on your ad and goes to your website. Anybody here ever do any print advertising? Business First, Buffalo News, Yellow Pages? Okay. What do they charge you based on? Circulation. Oh, well, the Yellow Pages goes to 2 million households. So you have to pay based on that. But 1,999,998 of them aren't going to see your ad. Too bad, you have to pay for it anyway. If you go to the Yellow Pages and say, I want to put an ad in there, if they still are in business, if you go, I want to put an ad in, but I'm only going to pay you if someone actually calls me on the phone. I'm only paying for results. They will say, can't do it. It's based on people who might see your ad. This, you only pay for results. So literally 1 million people could see the ad, cost nothing. Free branding. Get your name out there. If they actually click, you make money. You pay for it. So this is an ad, this is an ad. Top and right side are LinkedIn ads. So you got a picture of a property you're listing? Put it on LinkedIn in front of everybody in the Buffalo Niagara Partnership or everybody who's a business owner in the greater Buffalo area. Anyone who sees it who's not interested won't click, it's free. The people who click are going to be people who are actually interested in the property, and maybe you spend $2 or $3. You spend more than that on your latte, and now you've got people who are actually interested in it. Yes, and then yes.
I was going to say, correct me if I'm wrong, I mean, with LinkedIn too, with the advertising, you can be very specific about who sees it. So you can say only people in Buffalo.
Yes, you can geo-target, which is what you want.
But you can even pinpoint it down to the person. So
Yes.
I want this person to see the ad, so that person will see the ad. So you can be very, or
anyone who works at
or
Columbus McKinnon.
company, right, exactly. So you can be very specific with marketing. So,
Dave.
Yeah, if you set up your own group,
Yes.
do you have any control over what ads might get placed on that page?
Yes. Because you can choose to accept them or not. So you don't have to worry that your competition is advertising in front of your prospects or clients. So for example, this is one, this is from LinkedIn's advertising page trying to sell you the world's largest audience of affluent, influential professionals. So this is an ad. Need a financial advisor, professional planning and tax preparation for 2010. They're showing an old ad from Mackenzie Drake. Now, something I would tell Mackenzie, who's not a client of ours, what's wrong with her ad? There's her picture. Now, granted, if that's actually her and not an iStock photo, another tip, don't use iStock photos. Everybody knows those are models and those aren't real people. If they've all got perfect hair and perfect teeth, they're not real people, because none of us have perfect hair and perfect teeth. Use your real picture or the real building if you're going to do it. So that if this is actually Mackenzie, granted she's cute, but she's not selling me anything about financial advice. If I'm getting professional planning and tax preparation, maybe I have a picture that actually sells something. So maybe I have a picture of somebody really frustrated, like holding up a 1040 stack of IRS forms and tearing their hair out. That picture would get more people. One of the things we do is you can split test ads. So you have the exact same ad with one thing different. So I would run this ad with another picture. It will show each ad 50% of the time and tell you which ad got more clicks. and then you can get rid of the ad that doesn't work. If you wanted to do that in the yellow pages, you would take out an ad, and a year later take out another ad, and in 2 years you would know. LinkedIn, you can know in 10 minutes. Yes, Tom.
Seth, so if I put an ad on that I'm specifically looking for insuring commercial buildings, let's say, then it should go to a separate landing page.
Yes.
Instead of my general insurance website.
Correct.
Okay.
That might be a little bit more advanced tactic, but if this is a planning and tax prep ad, should this ad drive them to a page on your website that's all about college planning? No, because that's not what she's selling. And then I got to navigate around her website and find what I'm actually looking for. You want to take them right to what they're looking for. So if you're advertising a property, it shouldn't be MackenzieDrake.com. Maybe it should be MackenzieDrake.com/2147 Main Street, and that takes them right to the page about that property. Does that make sense? Big dumb companies, some of our Fortune 500 clients before they hired us, were really bad about this. Like if you typed in red Hermes silk tie and you clicked the ad, it would take you to the Hermes homepage. You'd still have to go to the Hermes search bar, type in red silk tie, and then navigate and try and find it. And we said, change it to the page that sells the red Hermes silk tie, and their cost per click dropped, and their clicks went up. Because the more people who click, LinkedIn gets excited because you're driving traffic. So LinkedIn says, ooh, we'll make it cheaper for you. The better marketer you are, the smarter you get at this, the cheaper your costs get. Which is really, really helpful to a business that doesn't want to spend $2 million on the billboards on the way to Buffalo that say, hurt in a car. So it's just smart. It's free unless you pay the $25, and even that isn't very much, because what's the average commission you generate on one sale? Way more than $25. So I would easily upgrade to the premium version, but everything we've shown you today is free. Creating your page that you've already got it, your profile is free. Creating a company page is free. Joining a group of your target prospects is free. And then use one of those apps like Zeit to start finding content to post. Or come up with how to overcome the 7 biggest mistakes business owners make when looking for new space when they want to expand or something. Or the 5 deadly sins of commercial real estate. I don't know, you could come up with something. Because what you don't realize is that you're all good at what you do. You've forgotten more than I'll ever know as a client about commercial real estate. We're leasing space next month in Dave Brody's building. And I got together to discuss the lease. And Dave says, what do you know about leases? And I said, nothing. And he's got a list of like 27 bullet points. I didn't even know what half of them were. And he's looking at me like, I forgot this stuff when you were in diapers. So you have to get what's in your head out to your marketplace, because it will position you as an expert. Because now, I saw all that stuff on Dave's list, and I'm like, damn, he's forgotten more than I would ever think to ask. He's covering stuff I never would have imagined. I would never go anywhere else, because I think now that Dave knows it all. So, all that stuff you've forgotten about, like when you stood up and talked about 350, 14-foot clearance square triple net, I had no idea what you're saying. You guys speak commercial real estate. It's a foreign language to everybody else. So, when we were looking at space, before Dave, who's my attorney, said, hey, we've got space, they were telling me, oh, this is a triple net lease, or this is X per square foot. And I would say, okay, and they would send me a sheet, whatever you call it, and I would look at it and go, but wait a minute, you said it was this per square foot. Oh, well, that's not net. And I said, okay, what's the net? And they would say, that's this. And I would say, okay, well, what about all this other stuff it says? Oh, well, that's triple net. And I was like, so what am I actually paying? They spoke commercial real estate. I didn't. I had no idea. I was like, okay, it took me 3 questions to find out what it was actually going to cost me every month to rent the damn place. You know that we don't as prospects. So if you did, even if you did a post about commercial real estate jargon turned into English, I guarantee you tons of people would be like, oh my God, thank you for helping me. Finally, I get it. Yes?
That's where the magic comes in.
That's where the magic comes in, yes. Absolutely. I didn't even pay him to say that. Normally we plant bribes in the audience, yes. So it is absolutely, it's free. Your prospects are on LinkedIn. Each other is on LinkedIn. You don't know we've gotten some of our biggest clients because I saw that like 3 connections later, somebody was connected to a CMO at a Fortune 500 company. And it took a little work to go 3 levels, introduce me to that person who doesn't know who I am, to introduce me to that person who doesn't know who I am, to get to where I want to go. But that's why it works so well, because nobody does the work. If you do the work, and it doesn't have to be that painful, especially because you can outsource to a shameless company like ours who will do it for you, you can get results on this. Because I guarantee you, how many commercial real estate agents are there in Western New York? Anybody know? 150. Well, let's drink a toast to the people who didn't come today and didn't learn this. You've got an edge over all of them. And some of you won't do what I just told you. So the people who do it have an edge over those people. So you're already in like the top 1% in Western New York. Now all you have to do is execute, and you'll blow everybody else out of the water and get a lot of business and a lot of referrals and a lot of extra sales you wouldn't have gotten already.
Any other questions for Seth?
Just one last one, Seth.
Yes.
LinkedIn is very Google friendly or whatever, a lot of Google juice. Do you think Google Plus will eventually take over LinkedIn for the juice you get out of your postings online?
Google started Google Plus to give more rankings to their own property as opposed to giving them to other places. However, it's funny, when Google Plus came out, the joke around our office was the only people who were in Google Plus were the Google employees. And then other people started joining. So obviously it's taken off because Google wanted it to, and they made it take off. However, they're never going to replace LinkedIn because LinkedIn is, it's the professional network. And Google Plus is for everybody. Google Plus isn't going after LinkedIn, it's going after Facebook. That's who they're trying to get. If you'd like to learn more about possibly 7 guaranteed ways to attract new clients like Magic, if you go to our website at www.ultimatemarketingmagician.com, you can watch a series of videos that will teach you how we do this, and you can get a free copy of our 7 guaranteed ways to attract new clients like Magic report.
Thank you, Seth. Appreciate it.